Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation, and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. Let go of negative thinking and stop living for the weekend. With your host, Fran Excel.
Welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel Mindset Coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love.
So today's episode is all about where in your business are you not taking action. So are you taking action towards the things that you want at the moment? So often I see people up to the absolute eyeballs in strategy, but not doing anything with it. You know what to do, you're just not doing it. You can tie yourself up in knots trying to be in all the places or doing all the busy tasks that make you think you're taking action, but there's usually a pesky little gremlin or two hiding behind the reason you're not actually taking the action that you need to on those things that you know would make a difference to where you are right now. You need to work out what those gremlins are, or you're going to continue to stay stuck and not moving forward. And we don't want that. And it doesn't need to be that way. So where in your business or your life are you not taking the action that you know you want and or need to right now? What are you holding yourself back from? Do you spend more time thinking about, talking about, and planning something rather than actually doing the thing? When we do this, and we have all done this at some point, I'm sure, we have a tendency to hide behind all these, in inverted commas, practical reasons we can't do something. That does a very, very good job at making it believable to us that it's true, that we really can't do it. But they really aren't legitimate reasons the majority of the time. They're just your own excuses. So what is your main excuse? And I'm guilty of this. We all do this at some point. So I'm not calling you out or calling you wrong. We all do this, but it's so important to identify the way we do this, because then we can call ourselves out on it. So what is your main excuse? Is it lack of time, money, not feeling ready, too busy, family, waiting until X, Y, and Z happens, whatever that may be? Which one is it for you? Because we all do this at some point. It's so easy to get caught up in it. And I genuinely have to call myself out on my own excuses all the time. Recently, I was telling myself there was absolutely no way that I could run a live event because of time, not having connections at the right venues to get a good deal, not even knowing where to start with looking at venues. You know, venues in London are pricey. Having the time to negotiate a good deal, all sorts of excuses. Honestly, I can reel them off for you. It could have absolutely kept me stuck, but I know myself well enough to call myself out on my own BS and know that it's just one of those pesky inevitable mindset gremlins, because it's new, it's outside my comfort zone, and I was feeling overwhelmed looking at the big picture and not breaking it down. Yes, I do it too, but I don't do it for long. I ask myself, what are my resources? And is any of this stuff that I'm actually telling myself really true? Guess what the answer was? Big fat no. And I also reminded myself that one of my favorite people in the world owns her very own events company in London. So now my first event, which has been a dream of mine for a really long time, is in the process of getting sorted right now. And it will be the Positive Pants Planning Live in London on the 5th of January, in case you're wondering. But the difference here is I called myself out, and I continue to call myself out on my own rubbish. And I pulled on my resources and asked for help. I remember back when I was working in a job at a really big newspaper, there was a mentor of mine that was there, and he said, "What are your levers?" I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And he said, "What levers do you have? What resources do you have to make this happen?" And just thinking that way then means that I can find all these levers that I can use, all these resources that, unless you're training yourself to think that way, you don't necessarily see. So you get to choose for it to be easier or harder. I choose easier, but sometimes it takes me a moment, but I do get there in the end. And we all too often get caught up in the excuses or not wanting to bother people, and all the thoughts Yeah, am I right? All the thoughts and all the what ifs, that what it means is we end up doing nothing and staying where we're at, right? So remember, you really don't have to do everything on your own. There are so many things that can stop us from taking action, and we do get to make that choice. Underneath it all, fear is the main thing that I see getting in people's way of them not taking action. Really, at the crux of everything, there's a lot of other symptoms: the procrastination, the overwhelm, all these different things, comparisonitis, the imposter syndrome. Really, at the crux of everything, we're afraid of something. Whether that's success, failure, judgment, what having it brings into or takes out of our lives. There's so many things it can be. But the good news is this is very sortable. The irony is the best way to get over your fear is to do the thing you're fearing. Annoying, right? If you can identify what the fear actually is behind it and what assumptions you're making about what will happen when you do it, you can start to challenge it. Whoop, whoop. You know, it's the most powerful thing that you can do. So what is stopping you right now? What negative thing do you think doing that thing you're putting off could bring into your life? You know, the bigger question is, do you even really want it? Are you building something that someone told you you should want? Should, in inverted commas. Or do you feel like you should want it, but deep down, you actually really don't? Are you building something based on what other people are doing, and that's what's holding you back? Because actually you don't want to build it that way, but you don't know another way. All really, really key questions to ask yourself. Identify where in your business you're not taking the action and take it from there. Do you know that video could propel your business and grow your audience, but you're holding back from doing a Facebook Live? Do you want to start a podcast, but you're scared of the tech, so you're not putting it out there? What is it? Where in your business are you not taking action? And then we can take it from there. What are those tasks that fill you with dread, or the task that always seems to end up at the bottom of the to-do list, even though you know it would make a difference to your business? The tasks you're making the excuses for not doing, but they continue to niggle at the back of your brain. What are they? Then what small thing could you do on those tasks today, right now, that could push you closer to your goal? Even if it's a pigeon steps of progress. Every single one of these little steps put together will help you grow in confidence, calm down that lovely fear center of your brain, and allow you to take more and more action, and finally hit your goal. So when you picture your ideal business a year or 5 years from now, what thing is already done? What did you need to do to get there? Is it a book you want to write, your own podcast, being featured in national press, speaking gigs? What do you see when you picture yourself a year or 5 years from now in your business? Yeah, I want you to really have a think about where you're making these excuses to not do things, and challenge yourself on if those excuses are really true. If time is one of them, then I definitely have another episode for you. You need to go back. I think it's episode 11. I'll link it up in the notes. How to find more time in your day, because it's a game changer, honestly. But the fear and frustration with yourself for not taking action won't go away until, guess what? You take action. So think about the end game. What is the best and worst thing that can happen if you do the thing? And what is the best and worst thing that will happen if you don't do it? 2 of my favorite questions, or 4, depending on how you look at it. They always get me into action. Always, always, always. And I really, really hope you use them. Connect to that vision of yourself in the future when it's done. How do you feel? Like, really tune into those emotions and the feelings that you have. How much more headspace do you have? What are you doing? Are you happier there? And if you are, then let's get going and do the thing. Deep breath and go. Take action. Do the thing. I'm always here to help. If you know that now's the time to start doing things, and you know you need a little bit of accountability, then that's what I'm here for. You can book a call in the notes as well, and we can get you from where you are to where you want to be, get you taking action. So I hope that was really helpful. And as always, I will see you next week. Bye.